Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Past The Barb. Today is Tuesday, actually, January 10th. I'm your host, Adam Bartusek, and next to me we have good old Mr. Cody Hahner.
How's everybody doing?
And on the bottom, we've got Pink is once again taking up the full bottom. We got lots of elbow room for Pink.
Yeah, I don't know. Stolski's attendance has been questionable at best, so let's just leave it at that.
Yeah. So we are back, and I know Pink and I just got back from the second trip of filming for the Crappie Chronicles. You guys will be seeing those videos soon. We can't really talk about too much of that yet, and we're gearing up to go on another one. Actually, I think, Hunter, the next two Past the Barb episodes will be filmed not at my house.
Wonderful. On location, on set.
We're gonna be in a place I've never been before.
I'm gonna be disappointed not to see this backdrop you've got going though.
Yeah, Brian said no doubt about it, the wall on the bathroom will be done by the time you get home. And I came through the corner and I was like, yeah, it looks the exact same. So
yeah.
Well, maybe we could at least get you a little bit of artwork there or something.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be cool if it was just at least painted, but whatever. Yeah. So the purple is that's waterproof sheetrock, if you didn't know, and the white is not. So there you go. A little bit of sheetrocking lesson for all of you.
Wow.
Believe it or not, I did know.
There you go.
But
wow. Yes. So this has been very useless for you.
For me, but I mean,
you've gained nothing here.
I have gained nothing. Let's get
hell of a start here, boys.
Let's get on with the project here.
Yeah.
Come on, Bart.
All right, here we go.
Fires.
We are going to light some fires, but we'll light some fires here too. We'll get rolling into the episode, and we're gonna go into current events. And I actually had someone slide into my DM saying I had to do this immediately in the show, so I have to. But I'm just gonna lead this off and say that the Green Bay Packers were officially eliminated from the playoff contention, and I really, really, really hope you enjoyed your Super Bowl, because that's exactly what it was. And it feels great to finally be able to spin it around on you guys. And the Lions got you. You're in third place, and we're heading to the playoffs. Should be a fun playoffs, and I'm excited for it. And I'm pretty sure Rodgers is done. It really looked like he was done. I don't think he's coming back.
First of all, as a Vikings fan, you're not allowed to say your Super Bowl. That's strictly a Packers thing for years and years and years now. That's been the case. Like, let's not get it mixed up. Once is a fluke. But I do say I am actually less upset about this loss, because from all the hype and stuff that was going on with ESPN, it just felt like bad karma was about to happen. Too many people wanted them in the playoffs. And I'm like, let's not forget that Dan Campbell is an absolute beast, and he's gonna fire these guys up and make them and like have them playing super tough. And for whatever reason, their defensive coordinator just had a way and a plan to shut Matt LaFleur down so easily, and it was so obvious throughout the whole game. I'm like, we can't do anything. Like, the only reason we're going to win is by some obscure couple turnovers that lead to some touchdowns or something like that.
Yeah.
But
I give major props to the Lions for the way they showed up with enthusiasm. And, like, Dan Campbell had that team rolling even after they were eliminated from playoff contention 20 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
Like, it was very impressive. It was a fun game to watch.
It was.
But it's hard to play a team with nothing to lose, you know?
Really is. And they have like motivation behind like winning for no reason. But I will say I'm so sad that Williams is still not on the Packers, because he has some of the most beautiful interviews.
Dude, that post-game interview was electric.
And like all of his for the Packers and his dance moves, like, I love that guy. I have his jersey, because he was my favorite player by far. Just absolutely electric and just super weird and quirky and fun. like he wore a Naruto like headband in one of the interviews with like a Pokemon, and he's talking about playing Pokemon when he wants to go home. He's like, I just want to play football and go home. Y'all keep me. It's like, oh, don't. It's like Pokemon. No, it's Pokemon. Don't disrespect Pokemon, brother. Like, it's just super goofy. But their team was. I was really nervous about that game, but yeah, it's unfortunate. And honestly, I'm always optimistic with the Packers, but this time I am not optimistic that Aaron Rodgers is coming back.
Yeah, and I saw an interview with Alan Lazard too. It looks like he's already checked out. Like he's going to be gone. Like it seems like for the first time in a very, very, very long time, the Packers are probably going to go through a very big rebuild.
Yeah, it's going to take some time. I mean, luckily they have like a ton of young defensive talent.
You guys do have a very young and good defense.
It's been really impressive. I don't know if we have the right leader for that defense as far as a defensive coordinator, but their defensive talent is really high, and they're fun to watch. But yeah, it's going to take. I mean, let me put it this way: Love ain't it. That boy ain't it. He's just not it. I mean, I don't care what he's learned from Aaron Rodgers. It's not like Aaron Rodgers was learning from Brett Favre or something. It's not that. So
yeah,
I don't have a lot of faith for him.
No. So I just had to bring that up after the little soapbox we got into the last one. But we'll just move on from that and say I am excited for the Vikings game on Sunday. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Like, I think, like everybody said, either the Vikings are going to win the Super Bowl or they're going to lose by 50.
Right.
Like, there's going to be no in between, and you're going to know right away. Like,
you'll see it. You'll see it very quickly.
Yeah, very quickly you're going to be like, oh, this is going to be a playoff game for the ages, and they're somehow going to pull it out in a way we've never seen before, or it's going to be like, oh, okay, I can go do yard work.
Yeah. That's how I felt after the fourth quarter of the Packers game. I'm like,
but current events wise, Hahner, you got anything going on?
Yes, I do. Okay, so this is very not outdoor industry. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to change what's going on in the world versus. Okay, so this is going to be more lighthearted, and then I'm going to go a little darker after.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys watched the World Junior Championship, the World Juniors for hockey.
I did not.
So the United States lost. They won 3 years ago, but Canada has won 2 times in a row. And there is an extremely special player that's on this juniors team, and it's 19 and below, age 19 and below, and the best of each country form a team and play against each other all across the world. But there's a kid who is an absolutely generational talent. Like, he is a McDavid, he is a Crosby. The kid is absolutely wicked. His name is Connor Bedard. The guy, I finally got to watch him.
I've actually heard of this guy.
I got to watch him on the junior scale, and I've seen some highlights and whatever, and that was cool. But dude, this guy, oh my gosh. Like, he's in my book, he's already in the Hall of Fame of hockey. Like, the guy, the kid is absolutely, he's 17 years old. He has, let's see, he just won the World Juniors. He has the world points record in that tournament. He beat Eric Lindros by I think it was 6 or 7 points. And then when he went back to, because he doesn't play high school, he's too good. He went to the Western Hockey League, which is like a semi-professional junior hockey league. He is now on track. Where is he at? He has played 29 games and he has 70 points.
Well, just in the World Juniors tournament, he had 23 points.
I think it was, honestly, dude, I think it was north of that. I don't have the exact stat, but he beat, I think it was in the 30s. But he's on track to beat Joe Sakic by 50 points in the WHL. If you don't know who Joe Sakic is, he's a legend.
Right. And this dude's only 17, right? I mean,
17.
like, it's
He's
just dumb.
Unbelievable. Like, just watching him on the ice, you're like, these kids are already at such an extremely high level, like where you skip freshman year of high school and you go straight to like a development camp.
Yeah,
and then from
you're
that
going to
development camp,
Shattuck or something like that.
yeah, and then from that development camp, you go to the USA or Canadian hockey team, or like USA like juniors national team, which like 20 kids get into, which means you're like the best 20 hockey players in the country.
Yeah.
And he's just blowing these people away. It's unbelievable to watch. The kid is crazy.
So here, I just pulled this up because I remember there were some other stats that were like hella impressive from that tournament.
Good.
So this one even says, so it's with the World Juniors, because he was obviously the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
So it said he set an all-time Canadian World Juniors record for points and goals.
Yep.
And that broke Jaromir Jagr's record for points as an under 18 player.
Yes.
So if you don't know who Jaromir Jagr is,
it's
like
he's
one of the most decorated NHL players and still plays in some overseas league.
Yes.
He's like ancient now.
At 50. He's 50 years old and he still plays professional hockey.
That's also just unbelievable in its own realm.
And I mean, it's no, but like this kid, he is a generational talent. He is 100% going number 1 overall in the draft, wherever the lottery lands for which team. But just watching, I mean, if you watch him live, like just watching his body movements and his awareness on the ice where he needs to be at all times, and how to like, you think hockey is fast paced, but he just slows it down when he needs to, and then just speeds up when he needs. I've never seen anything like it other than like McDavid or Crosby.
Yeah.
It's the only 2 guys I could see doing that.
Yeah. No, and I mean, his post-game interview was awesome. I don't know if you saw that.
Amazing. Yeah.
But he's just like, he's kind of got it all, right? Like, people love this guy.
Personality. He's humble enough. Yeah. And you like, as a hockey player that age, you're still going to be cocky as shit.
Exactly. Well, that's what I mean. Yeah. Right.
But like, yeah, he's, his post-game interview was amazing. He's like, this is not about me. This is not about me, because that's what all they want to talk about, because he's going to be the number 1 overall draft. But he's like, this is not about me. This is amazing. Whatever, yada yada yada, saying all the right things.
Exactly.
But it was, I've been super impressed and like very intrigued to watch him further.
Yeah, that's always a fun tournament to kind of follow for sure, because there's a lot of big names in there.
Yeah, and if you're a hockey fan up here, everyone pays attention to it. But Pink, what do you got going on current events wise? I know you and like we talked about leading off, like you and I were just in the middle of absolutely nowhere, so catching up on news is kind of tough.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's more just like coming off of that one, just kind of trying to think about like, holy crap, I gotta get my life back together. It's like, I feel like even when I'm gone from work for like a couple of days, I show back up there and I'm like, I don't even remember what I do here, kind of thing. So it's like trying to just get back in the groove. But I guess one thing, this is actually something from our trip, just that we kind of talked about. I'm not gonna like give away any details or anything, but on that trip we were discussing some stuff about like some electronics, right? Kind of in fishing. I know we touched on that a lot with live, but one of the people we were fishing with, I got into a conversation with when we were up there just about like how, I mean, one, like we talked about it, like how are they going to start regulating some of this stuff, but just from like a perspective of like guiding and just like not commercial, but people that make a living fishing, like how that's going to change just like the path forward for a lot of people, because the skill level aspect is necessarily like not maybe as relevant as it was for some areas and species of fish. Because I mean, yeah, we talk about bass fishing a lot, but in particular, like 360 and live, like either whatever brand it is, doesn't matter. But like, I mean, you guys are around a lot of people at some of these bigger events too, that I'm sure use them and are already really good anglers, which helps them a lot. But like the stuff as far as, you know, you don't have to name any names, but people that maybe shouldn't be at some of these events that use this type of equipment and are, you know, still in the mix.
Yeah.
Like we were kind of talking about that, how like there's people that literally suck that can still get it done using some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's becoming, you know, say that group of people, maybe they found they learned it faster, or they learned like in different ways. Say, I've always thought of like myself as like a feel angler, like I get a gut instinct to do something else. But maybe for these guys, it's like their brain works at looking at this thing and are more efficient with it, rather than sometimes I've played with it where I'm like, man, I am so addicted to looking at fish, and I had no idea how many fish I was probably passing over, where I would just leave because they're not biting. Where now I'm
Right.
like trying to force myself to get them to bite,
Sure.
Yeah.
and maybe they're better at that than
I
a lot of
think
people, and caught onto it.
Ike, when we were driving home yesterday, I was looking to Bass Talk Live from yesterday, and Ike brought up a really good point that I thought was really interesting. He was talking about how his son Vegas is so good with live already. And Ike Nelly was saying, like, admittedly, like he's not that good with it. And he's like trying to.
Mhm.
But what he was saying was like a lot of these young guys, like our brains are wired like the old school anglers, their brains are wired on triangulation, bank changes, like
Patience.
bushes, stuff like that. My
Yeah.
brain isn't wired that way. My brain is wired at how I look at side imaging and now live.
Mhm.
So, like when I look at live, I can pick things up so quickly because my brain has processed that, and like looking at screens and everything, like whether it's even a computer or TV or whatever it is, that's just how my brain has developed since I was born. Like not even in fishing, just like through life has been with screens compared to other stuff. So I think that's one thing. But when we talk about like making the elite series and stuff, what's going to be really interesting is, and Hahner knows this, a lot of the opens and Toyota series events happens at places in really bad times a year for the most part.
Mhm.
And that's when live plays a lot. So you're going to see guys make it using live. But then when they get to the elite series, I mean, Hahner, what? 80% of the elite series schedule is not necessarily bank beating, but it's like pre-spawn, spawn, post-spawn.
Yeah,
Like
like
you can't use it. Like there's no
no,
benefit to any live technology really, maybe for one fish.
not
Right. And that's where
nearly.
you're going to separate these guys that actually have the skill level to excel. Right. I mean,
Right. Like you're always going to have, I mean, I know like Christie's been with Garmin for the longest time, but his niche has always been, you know, he's flipping bushes. He's
mhm.
chucking him one on a spinner bait. That's like Greg Hackney. I mean, these guys don't go away. They're just extremely good at what they're good at, and
Yeah.
they're better than 100% of the people in the world at doing that.
And I think
But
it's where your mentality's at too. Like the reason I'm fishing the Toyota series this year is like I'm using those events because of when most of them are, as like I want to learn to fish the bank better. And
yeah,
it's going to force me to fish the bank a lot more. Like I'm going to have to pick up a square bill, a swim jig, and like stuff like that. And I'm excited for that. Like I'm excited to pick up baits and not just be like up here where I'm like, okay, go out to a weed line or pick up a flipping stick and flip some milfoil out deep. So
right.
yeah, I think you are right though, Pink. Like on a guiding level, like guys are going to be able to get into it a lot more because they can just put their clients around fish.
Well,
And
right.
then necessarily it's like they don't even have to be that good at catching them. They're just like, there's fish here. So
Yeah,
Right.
so
And in that world, it's like you might not matter what species they are. I mean,
yeah,
bit's
no.
getting bit. So I don't know. And it's like 'cause there's so much hate out there right now too on using live, right? Like some people think it's cool, but a lot of people like are going out of their way to post that they like caught stuff without using live. Which is like,
I saw, well, and our friend Tyler Brick, he's a good buddy of ours, but I saw his post the other day about it and I laughed and I was like, dude, I do. And here's the thing, like we've just modified with the times, but like I do miss the day. Well, I don't miss my back hurting, but like I miss the days of drilling a bunch of holes and just wait until you drop a Vex down and you're like, holy shit, here they are. Compared to you just drill a hole and you turn and you're like, they're all right there.
Yeah, but also, it's like you didn't get a scope for like how big that school was or anything, you know?
Yeah.
It provides you a lot more information you wouldn't have otherwise gotten, but it doesn't mean that it's like, oh, these guys would have never caught them.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
Yeah. No, definitely. But yeah, no,
we'll revisit that.
Yeah. So we're going to pop into next what in the world is going on. So generally this is more of kind of fishing outdoors related type stuff. It can be similar to current events that's going on in our lives, but really what's going on in the world. Mine isn't fishing related, however, but I feel like it impacted us all a lot. And I wanted to get your guys' thoughts. I know last episode when we were recording is kind of when the Demar Hamlin injury happened. And nobody really knew what was going on and everything. And there was a lot of very quick reaction by, you know, whether it was, you know, me or other people around the world, whatever it might have been. And I think what came out from it, if you didn't know, Demar Hamlin plays safety for the Bills. What we ended up finding out was he went into cardiac arrest on the field. He actually died on the field, and was brought back through CPR and then, went to the hospital. I think he's in the hospital in Buffalo now, is what I last saw. But just a really scary event that brought a lot of people together. And I listened to a few other shows about it, and I thought some good points were brought up in the sense of when these type of events happen, and this is like a little more serious than typically what Past the Barb is, but I think it's important to talk about, is we're so quick to like get angry and we want to blame someone. Like that's the way the world is now. We want to get mad. We want to blame someone. We want to get angry at something. So like, obviously Skip Bayless had a terrible tweet and a few other people had terrible tweets and they just got roasted immediately, which, you know, maybe they should or shouldn't have, whatever it is. But I think it's really important for people with this to see like, we're all humans and it is okay to have emotions over something and someone you don't know, like something like that affected a lot of people and was a very numbing moment of, oh, this is life.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. And for one, that Skip Bayless tweet, and for him to defend his tweet was even worse. Like there's a point where you're trying to push a TV show and your persona and you cross so many lines.
Yeah.
Like that was ridiculous. That was absolutely ridiculous. Like, come on, man.
But yeah, like with that, I think it's okay to you can get mad at Skip for his take, but like you can't blame him for that or like blaming T Higgins or whatever it is. Like, I think a lot of people just aren't comfortable maybe just being emotional or just realizing like, hey, like, yes, this is scary and it's okay. So I just more of wanted to touch on like, hey, this stuff happens and like, it's okay. Like it's okay. It's okay to feel emotions. Like a lot of other people did. Like when we got done with the podcast, I sat down for an hour and watched Ryan Clark and Scott Van Pelt talk about it. And I mean, by the way, probably the two best sports personalities in the world.
Yeah.
I don't know two people who could have done it better. And Booger did a really good job in a bad situation. I ended up watching that and just, yeah, it's a crazy world. And it was cool to see the whole world come together, like seeing all of a sudden everybody donating to his charity, like over $7 million for toys for kids. Like,
yeah,
sometimes it takes an event for people to all of a sudden just be good people. So right. I think the lesson from this is like, just everybody be a little bit nicer to each other.
Yeah. And good on the two coaches for like realizing a situation that is not normal and taking a leadership role, which they are not expected to do that, but they like rose to the occasion, and they became the leaders of their teams, and like made the right decision and mutually agreed to get off the field. Like we're not doing this.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah. There's a lot of good things that came out of it. I'm glad to see he's doing better. And, you know, hopefully he'll be able to turn a corner. I don't know if he'll ever be able to play again. Maybe he will. I'm not a doctor, so I have no idea what the medical repercussions of this. Yeah, I'm shocked. I don't know what the medical repercussions of this type of thing are, but hopefully he'll be able to play again or whatever. But yeah, it was a very scary moment, but happy to see that kind of turn the corner. But Hahner, do you have something for what in the world's going on?
Yeah,
well,
I want to hear this dark turn.
Yeah, what's this?
I guess
Pink? Should we go to Pink for something lighter, or are we gonna go?
Well, I think we just got to go right in.
I guess
it's
it's not like super dark, but I think it's more like current. So, do we all know who Andrew Tate is?
Yes,
here?
I do. I don't know. Does Pink?
Yes. Yep.
Think you know who Andrew Tate is? For those of you that don't know, Andrew Tate has been arrested from
he did get arrested?
Yeah, he was arrested.
Okay.
For supposed sex trafficking and rape allegations. And what I still cannot find, and what nobody can find, is any proof to his current jail time. It went from 24 hours to 30 days, almost without explanation by the Romanian government. And whether you like the guy or don't like the guy, it is literally, because like there's a quote that I read from him that he just put it out. He's like, I'm never going to kill myself. I'm putting that on point. I'm never going to kill myself. I'm never going to kill myself. If I die because of suicide, I did not kill myself. And it is like following his narrative to a T. And I'm not saying I like him or hate him or whatever, but it's crazy how like exactly what the guy has said will probably happen to him is now just like randomly happening to try and shut him up for whether it's like, whether you think that's a misogynist viewpoint or him saying misogynist things, or maybe it's the truth to you, but it's hilarious how people like basically what he's saying is now happening to him. And maybe it's for a good reason or not. I don't know. But yeah, I thought it was hilarious, like crazy thing to be happening.
Yeah. I don't know much on everything that has happened, but the fact that he's in jail just saying that, like, I do think that's a smart thing for him. Everything I've seen of him, I haven't very much liked the guy, but I don't think many people really do. But yeah, it's a crazy thing going on.
That seems like just a bad situation to be involved in at all.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Like once you've gotten to that point, yeah, some crazy shit's about to go down.
Yeah, because he always talked like his big thing was like, all right, let's see.
Oh God,
he's digging in.
To not be a part of the matrix, like thinking of society as a matrix, or that you're just a pawn in a cog in a wheel or something like that. That you're meant to be spinning this way, and like there's a hierarchy that is controlling the cog, and you're just a part of it. Is to break out from that, and then that the people running the cog, when you break out from it, are there to doom you. And I just find this guy so interesting. I'm like, this is such a wild viewpoint on the world, whether he's guilty or not. Damn, the guy makes good television. I'll say that. Like,
he's entertaining.
Like, oh man, it's entertaining as shit. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a good one to bring up, Hahner. Pink, do you got anything going on? What in the world?
Yeah. So, this one is semi-fishing related because it is semi about fish. So, Florida, I don't know, has been like unseasonably cold for the past couple weeks here. They had a couple really big cold fronts that came through, and normally in the wintertime they get a few of those, and it causes, whatever, some fish kills, stuff like that, because a lot of the
iguanas fall from the sky.
Yeah, a lot of the animals in Florida are just like not built for it, and they're super delicate, even if they're like big. So I don't know if you've been following it at all, but there has been some hella impressive videos and pictures coming out of like the Space Coast area that are just unbelievable amounts of fish that are just dying just because it got kind of cold. And they're big. I mean, they're
just
big.
they're just like, no.
Yeah, I mean, normally it's like a lot of bait fish and stuff like that, which is pretty common. But now, I mean, there's a lot of stuff of like big trout and snook floating in these canals and stuff like that, like big game fish, 20-30 pound fish that are just dying from a cold front, And I mean, I don't know how many different types of species it affects. I'm assuming it's only the inshore stuff. Like you're not seeing a bunch of like pelagic fish dying from this, but it's always blows my mind to just see how different of a place, because like we all live up north. Like a lot of our stuff is like, it gets cold and it's no big deal. But yeah, like you were saying, the iguana thing, they're just like falling out of trees. I was down there a couple of years ago on a pig hunt, actually, during one of these mega cold fronts. And I was sitting in like a stand kind of thing, and there were some pigs around. There was a small one, and it came and it just like bedded down. And by the time like I got out of there after we'd killed a couple, like it was just dead. Like it just bedded down and just died. And I'm talking to the dude who owned the place that we were at, and he's like, "Oh yeah, no, that happens all the time." He's like, "If it gets cold and they're not in a group, they just die." Like even a game animal, like just an animal, like in the woods, man. Like they're just like, "Yeah, it's pretty good. That's it. I'm done."
Yeah.
Just like, and it was like 25 degrees. It wasn't even like, but 0 or anything.
We're just built different,
I guess. So I don't know. These Florida people that come up here, I imagine they're probably they don't just die, but I mean, they're not loving it.
They're not having a great time.
They're not loving it. But anyway, if you look it up, if you're interested in seeing some of these, it's just mind blowing. I mean, I'm sure a lot of this stuff happens, and they get red tide and stuff in other parts of the year too that kill a lot of fish. But literally just a cold front, just crash in a fishery. Unbelievable.
Pink, you just brought this up. I mean, maybe I'm dumb for not knowing this. What exactly is red tide?
So it's a bacteria that happens. I want to say it's a lot of time in the spring, but I think they can get it at other times of the year. But it's essentially like they call it that because it's like a bacterial bloom. Kind of, it looks similar to like an algae thing, I'm pretty sure. But what it does is it infects these fish and it kills them. And then like even with the fish that die from it, like people they don't want people like eat them or whatever, so you don't get sick from the same thing, but in years when it's really bad, they either shut or regulate super heavily different fish species. And same thing, down in Florida, like oysters are a big thing down there, and they'll close that entirely just because they're not safe to eat anymore and that kind of thing. So and then eventually it starts to dissipate, but it does take some time once the actual like bloom of it goes. But they show it you see it from aerial like space photos and stuff where it's literally just like red along the coast where all this stuff is blooming super hard. So it's a weird. I mean, I'm glad we don't have stuff like that in freshwater. I mean, we have a few diseases that go around, but nothing like that.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. Yeah, I never knew what it was. I always hear of it, but I've never like actually looked into what it is. But that's a good little segment there. So now we're gonna step into kind of one of our favorite segments. We haven't brought it back in a little bit. We'd like to do more of these. So if people have ideas, please email them to us or DM us, text us, whatever it is. But this is a segment called The Weigh In. Basically, we just pick a topic, we go snake draft style and weigh in on or pick different items or whatever it might be. I think the last one we did was Christmas gifts for an outdoorsman. That went over really well and was kind of a little bit more serious. This one we're going to get into maybe a little bit more funny and just honestly kind of bitching because it's the middle of January and it's winter and we've all had to deal with it for a while now. So, yeah, this is going to be the weigh-in of the worst parts of winter. So if you're from the Midwest, you will feel this. And if you're from not, you should just laugh at, oh my God, you have to deal with this. So, yeah, I think this is a good one to go off of. Christmas gifts. I actually forgot to look back at who won it. I think Pinkalla won it again.
Hey, but I did win.
You did win trivia. We did bring that up. And if people didn't listen to the Christmas trivia episode, you should, because it's hilarious. It is not the level of trivia you think it is, probably. It is very, very funny.
We had a Steve Harvey finish to that one.
Yeah. It was rigged. We got to make sure Hayes is using a calculator with points next time. But we're going to weigh in on the worst parts of winter. Admittedly, I did not get an opportunity to prepare well for this one, but we're going to swing from the hip, and I'm going to get buried. But
how are we picking the order here?
I think we'll go Pink, Hahner, me.
Oh, so you're just automatically taking the end spot, eh? You just want that.
I think I took last in the Christmas gifts one, so we'll just go that way. Or we could do a different way if you guys want to.
That's fine.
Okay, no. Pink, you will be the first pick. So worst parts of winter.
All right.
And Pink can lead us off.
Yeah, I feel like I got a pretty strong roster. So
and sorry to cut you off, Pink. But if you want to weigh in on this, we will put a graphic up later this week with voting, so you can vote on the winners. Normally I put it up on Thursday if I remember right. It'll be up Thursday or Friday. Go vote for the winners, and that helps decide the order. And if we start getting enough people interacting with it, we will have a year-long winner or loser. We'll figure out some sort of scoring system with it, but
yeah, and whoever loses, there's going to be a severe penalty for that.
Yeah, so I'm just throwing games right now, basically, but
yeah. All right, so I'm leading it off strong here. I know this one's going to hit home with a lot of people, so I'm just taking it right off the top here. 1-on-1, I'm taking the wet sock puddle, and this one pisses me off like no other. You come in from outside, you manage to keep your socks dry all goddamn day. You step out of those boots, first step.
Right.
First step out the boots. Right into the old
puddle.
Right
into the puddle.
Wet sock time.
And
I wasn't anticipating having to be barefoot.
Shit too.
It's cold. It's goddamn cold, and it's big puddle. This ain't no little baby spot. I'm taking wet sock puddle for my 1-on-1 right there.
That's a very good pick. Hahner?
All right, I just thought of this one. Leading into the just getting into the house and being annoyed. So I'm going to go with I forgot it's recycling and garbage day after I had a long ass day of work being outside. And now I have to walk back out either A, in the morning, which is colder, or B, I'm freezing my butt off and I have to drag the freaking garbage cans down to the freaking side of the road and come back up.
And you didn't shovel a little path right there.
No.
You're trudging.
No. And then that thing, and then say that thing tips over, which it did the last time.
You leave it. You just leave it till spring.
No, yeah, that banana peel and that little guacamole from the taco that I DoorDash to myself. That's I don't know. I guess a rabbit could eat that, or the Sandow cranes by me. Nothing worse than having to just go outside after you're just in it and just despising to your bone.
And normally this is after you've taken your jacket and all your shoes and everything off, and you're just like, oh, I'll do it quick.
Off.
So you grab the pair of sandals or Crocs that just sit by you there, and you're like, oh, it'll be fine. And then you end up
with
wet socks.
It's never fine.
And then you end up with wet socks.
Never once has it been fine.
Kills me.
That's a good one, Hahner. Okay, so I got to go back to back here. I think I got two good ones actually. So the first one, and we will all know exactly what I'm talking about here. This almost always happens. It happens for me whenever I'm in a rush. Every time I'm in a rush in the winter, I'm like, oh shit, I got to go somewhere. And I go run out to my truck and hop in, and I didn't preheat it.
Mm.
And I have frosted windows.
You ain't seeing shit, boy.
No.
And you can't see anything. And you have to preheat your truck or car for like 10 to 15 minutes. And you have to plan it into your day just because you go and you hop in it and you're like, damn it. Because no matter how much you scrape or anything, you ain't seeing anything. And then I know we've all done I'll just scrape out so I can see. And then you start driving and you're looking through like this little, basically 5-gallon lid of a scraped area.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say I was going to say
ice
like
cream
a
pail.
baseball.
Yeah, maybe a baseball. And you're like, that'll work. And you just look at other people driving down the highway doing the same thing. And you're like, God, how don't more of us die? That would be mine. So first one, frosted windows. It's just such a major inconvenience.
Yeah.
Next one. I think this one's really good. But
he's laughing already.
It's just because
this better hit.
This always happens to me. There's just nothing worse in the world than when you go out and you're like, well, it just snowed 8 inches, so I guess I'll shovel my driveway. And you shovel the whole fucking driveway, and you get to the end of it, and you're like, man, I feel accomplished. And you're turning around to go walk in, and the city snowplow drives by, and you're like, fuck. And then that snow, you swear to God, is the crust of Antarctica when you get to it.
And they wing it back nice and deep.
Yeah, it's 10 times more work than shoveling your driveway was. It's just crusted up, tall, and it just sucks. There's rocks everywhere. You can't even shovel it right. About halfway through, you're like, I'll just kind of scrape it off. And then you just kind of drive over a mound at the front of your driveway for the next 4 to 5 months.
That's a good one. That one is good.
Okay. I got one. You'll have to tell me if it's disqualified from your first answer, but it kind of leads in on that, going down the line of what's about to come. With the frosted windows. So I usually get up, it's like, say like 4:30 or 5 in the morning, wake up, and I keep the house super cold just to like save on heat, like the heat bill. So I'll wake up, get out of my sheets, I sleep like without a shirt or, just like boxers or whatever on. And I'm like, just rushing to the shower. I'm like, damn, goddamn. Turn that bitch up high, get in the shower. I'm like, all right. Just like, come on. Like getting warm, get out, get my towel on, fucking rush back to my room, get my clothes on. And then I forget to like warm up the truck, obviously. But I'm usually in a rush because I'm waking up like 2 minutes before I got to be there. I got a timeline. We got a schedule with the shower, essentials only, pits, balls, let's go to work. But then once I'm done showering, I have to wait a solid 15 minutes for my truck to go from negative 30 degrees to a solid 5. And 5 is heaven. Negative 30.
And your teeth are just chattering.
Just pissed off at the world.
Like, yeah.
I got to go to a fucking construction job. I'm going to be working outside today. And that 15 minutes, you want to see, that is therapy bound right there. You want to see some behavior from people. You can see it too. Like they got their hoods up, they got their coats on, just going to work. Got to freaking go nurse.
Well, yeah, and then you always have to make the decision: do I hop in the car with the jacket on and know after 15 minutes I'm going to die of a heat stroke, or do you go without it and suffer the first 15 minutes of it warming up?
But either way, that heat's going to be maxed out, and even if it gets to 500 degrees, you ain't turning her down. You're committed to the heat.
And I'm usually driving a work truck, which the heat ain't working too well. In these things. We're either at max, we're getting to 30, or we're at negative 30. The temperature gauge does not work. It's 5 at 30 degrees or 0 at negative 30. There ain't any in between.
That's it.
That's it. So that's my one. Those 15 minutes from cool down to kind of cold. That's the worst.
I like it.
That's a good one. That's a good
All
one.
right.
I'll allow that because it's different than mine. Mine
It
is
is different.
specifically just the fucking windows.
It was just down the timeline of misery.
Yeah, because like half the days in the winter, there are no frosted windows. It's
Right.
just, and that's why it's such a big inconvenience.
But how does it choose which day it's going to just absolutely fuck your car?
I don't know.
knows?
But God, it's
Complete
always
random.
the day I don't need it to.
Unreal.
All right, Pink.
Yeah.
All right. So mine are all pretty much this list of all these tiny little inconveniences that absolutely ruin my goddamn life.
Like the wet sock puddle.
So this one, well, I think like a lot of this stuff is vehicle related just because it's wintertime, right?
Yeah.
So this one, I especially hate. And this is particular right after a nice fresh snowfall. You get this one here. You're going out. Not only did you just scrape off all your goddamn windows, you know it's going to take 15 minutes for that bitch to heat up. But then you go to open that damn door and you get a nice big ass plop of snow right on your seat.
Oh, yes. Roll the window down to just uncover it, and it oh my.
You open it up and just right down. And it goes right into the seat, which is nice.
Every single time.
Yeah.
Even if you brush off the top of your vehicle,
doesn't
you're
matter.
like, I'm going to be smart here.
It
And then
doesn't
you open it and you're like, how?
Yeah, it gets in there. And then it's down in the little crevice in the seat. So you can't even wipe it out. You're trying.
Yeah.
You're trying. Don't do shit. Your ass is wet now.
You're trying to like
vigorously. Is there a theme? There's
like,
a theme here.
Trying to just vigorously like turn the wipers to hope to God that you can get the snow. And half the time it's like, come on. And it finally does, and then you open your
30 pounds on your wiper.
Yes, you open the truck door to like try and smooth some over, and guess what? It works. Thunk, onto your seat, and you're like, mother, I'm gonna kick over that trash can again.
Yeah, right. Oh boy.
No, right. that is a good one, Pink. That is a good one. Minor inconveniences. I like it.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going back to back here with another vehicle one here.
We're all on the vehicle things. I love it.
Well, actually,
worse.
I'm saving this one because I'm gonna take it in a later round because I don't think you'll have it. So I'm going. This could be vehicles or your garage. I don't care. I absolutely hate nothing other than my sock being wet, than putting some cans outside that just goddamn explode.
Oh.
You got that nice 6-pack. You thought, I'm coming back to that later. Forget about it. Burnt. It's tragic is what it is. I don't even want to talk about it at this point.
Yeah. And I also like, this isn't even necessarily cans, but like when you have a bottle of water and you grab it and you're like, oh my God, it's not frozen. But
and then
because
the moment
you haven't
open it,
it's because you haven't opened it, so it hasn't been exposed to air. So you open it and you watch it just crystallize into a block, and you're like, no,
yeah,
because that water is literally under freezing temp. It just couldn't freeze yet because of whatever the seal is. I don't get how that works, but
it's science, bro.
Yeah.
But yes, and I had a bang explode in the door compartment of my truck one time.
Holy shit.
And if I hadn't just gotten the hooker smell out of that truck from it being stolen, I would have probably been pissed. But it just smelled like bang for probably 3 months solid. I don't know what's in that stuff, but if it blows up, it's not good.
No, it is not good. And Hahner's mic currently isn't connected, so we have to wait for him to figure his life out here.
He's in emergency panic mode.
He is. He's panicking. If you're watching on YouTube, Hahner is just absolutely freaking out right now. We can't hear him. He can't hear us. He is just straight up panicking.
Well, this is going to be an awkward silence, huh?
Oh, he's back.
I can hear you the whole time.
He's back. He's back.
He's back.
You got us good.
I think his mic started working now too, actually.
I was going to add on to that rain story.
Yeah.
So
You mean the
or
Bang store.
whatever.
Yeah.
Bang, Rain, same thing. Rain's better.
Actually,
tasting
you're
than
right.
Bang.
It may have been a gummy bear. Actually,
Oh, so good. I've had this happen so many times where I'll get a coffee and a Rain. Like
Yeah.
maybe later in the day, I'm pretty tired, whatever. And
Getting a
I
quick
just never.
500 mgs
like,
of caffeine to start the morning.
Not a big deal. Not a big deal. But like, I'll forget about it, but have it in my tool bag, and then wake up the next morning, and I fucked up. I fucked up big time. Big time.
Yeah.
And you can't
know
just wash
immediately.
tools.
Either.
Like they rust, whatever. Like I can't wash a power tool. It's just sticky in my hand for the next 2.5 freaking months until it rains again or something.
Something.
Like ridiculous. Oh, it's the worst.
Yeah.
It's the absolute worst. Oh.
I'm telling you, I got a squad here. So be
Oh.
ready, boys.
That's good. That is a good one. Hahner, you are up for your third pick.
I'm gonna say we're gonna dive deep into the depression mode of wintertime. And this is probably, look, it's not the cold. It's not the snow. It's not the ice. It's the inevitable, what Ryan Pinkalla has going on right now. The darkness.
God
We
damn it.
called it the dark times. I wake up at 5. It's dark. I get out of wherever I'm working at, say, 4. It could be 3. Does not matter. It's pitch freaking blackout. You ain't seeing vitamin D for another 3 months. Your skin is white. You look like Elon Musk without a shirt off.
Well,
It's
mind
bad.
you,
It is
you
bad.
Dying.
you
inside.
don't realize how big of a little bitch you are and how ornery you are until you go to Florida like the 3rd week of February and talk to some humans who've seen the sun, and you're like, oh my God, I'm a dick.
Oh, it's the
because I
worst.
haven't seen the sun at all.
You just see, I mean, like I work construction, so you see, constant construction workers who are just bitching at each other, just pissed off because they're either hungover, their wife left them, their wife cheated on them. Some of the worst in humanities. But when it's wintertime, nothing compares to that hatefulness and that disgruntledness of people.
Well, especially that moment when you're still at work and you're just watching it get dark.
The sun
that
go
moment
down.
Wow.
Then you get home and you're like, well, what am I gonna do? No, you know what you do? You sit on the couch. That's it. That's all you have to do.
Correct.
That's all you have to do.
You've done it.
That's it. That's your night for 4.5 months. That's what you do. It's
because there's nothing else.
Because there's nothing else. And your brain that's why like spring is so amazing. We see a 30-degree day with open water. I mean, you've got, say like it's walleye run, you've got 750,000 boats out on the Fox River because people are like, yeah, let's go walleye fishing. They ain't there yet.
Forget about
that runs directly into like Hahner you brought up, but like, and I'm sure we'll do a weigh-in of this, but this will be like pick one of one. The first 30-degree sunny day.
Oh.
You swear to God it's 65 degrees out.
Tarps
You'll see
off.
people in t-shirts.
Tarps off.
Oh, tarps. Yeah, all day. All day. You know I got the flops ready.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we're ready to go.
Hahner,
that was a big one for me.
You took that one at me. I had literally just wrote down dark at 4:30. That's it. That's it. It's awful. Like, I guess people probably don't even realize how much that sucks, but it really sucks.
It's bad.
Oh, it's horrible. It just wears on you. It's just just breaks you.
Yes.
Just mentally.
It's only January. Wow.
All right. And I will go. So I got to go back to back here, and I haven't had much time to think, but I still think I'm going to go to a fishing related one. And this is directly based off of where we came from. Pink's going to know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you ice fish, you will feel this. There is just nothing worse than slush pockets. Like there's a lot of bad things about winter and ice fishing and everything, but there is just nothing worse than you're just driving your snowmobile across the lake, just like, this is great. Everything's great. I got a machine. I'm having fun. I'm at least outside. And then you're going.
What could
and
go
all this,
wrong?
Yeah, what could go wrong? And then all of a sudden on your back, you just feel everything start sinking and you gas it. You gas it as hard as you fucking can. But all that happens is your whole back gets soaked. And all of a sudden your knees are in the water. And you're like, oh, sick. I'm in a slush pocket.
Nothing like being underwater on top of the ice, right?
Yeah, there's nothing like being underwater while on top of the water. Like, there's just nothing better. So then you step out and you're like, okay, what do I get to do now? Oh, dig it out. Like, that's great. This is a fun activity.
Oh, shit.
No, go ahead, Hunter.
Oh, I was going to say, to add on to slush pocket thing, my favorite when ice fishing is when you know the crust on top is just thick enough to hold your weight. And you're just slowly kind of sliding around to get to the place that you need to be.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, I think we can good. And then you start comfortably walking and poosh, right up to your knee.
Like,
and you've got sorrels on.
Yeah.
Nothing waterproof. Like, oh, well, all right, we're done. Pack it up. What do you mean we're packing up? Nope, we're done. Nope, back.
It's over. Fun day ruined immediately.
Oh my god!
It's like 9 o'clock.
Yeah. Why are we leaving? My whole leg is holding 25 pounds of water and ice currently.
Yeah, Hunter, we had our camera guy do that. We were the other day. He post-holed through, and and he was deep, real deep. And Bart's like, "Dude, you good?" And he's like, "I don't know."
Yeah, no, dude. This is a great story from the
Granted,
trip.
he doesn't spend a lot of time on the ice, so
this is a great story from the trip, because this will not be on camera at all, because this day sucked. But so Pink and I are walking around with the live, and we're like, yeah, we'll just keep walking until whatever. Meanwhile, Griffin Waldo had gotten stuck in slush pockets, I think 2 or 3 times prior to this
with
day.
the sled.
Yeah, with the sled. So we had been already dealing with pulling it out. And we're walking across the middle of this lake, and Pink and I look at each other, and we're like you said, Hunter, this crust on top was just thick enough.
You could hear it cracking.
And you could hear it cracking every step. And every time you drilled a hole, it would go like 4 turns, like maybe 3 turns through the crust. And then it was just water coming up. And you would, like, the auger would drop 7 inches and start drilling again. And then you'd get through and you're like, oh my God. But yeah, like the best line from that, Pink's just like, yeah, we'll keep walking, but once I post hole one, like, we're turning around.
Oh my gosh. But yeah,
then we're out there and we had burned through a battery. And we're like,
oh, that's what it was. You're right.
Yeah, Luke, can you go grab a battery for us quick? And he's like, yeah, dude, I'll go grab it. And we're like, hey, we'll meet you over here. Kind of, this is the way we're working. Unless we run into fish, then it'll happen. But so he's walking, and me and Pink turn to go like 45, to the left, and Luke goes kind of like 45 to the right to get back to stuff. And Pink and I are just chatting and walking, and all of a sudden I look at Luke, and Luke's like 6'3", 6'4", like me. And all of a sudden I'm like, he looks short. And he's just like standing there frozen. And I'm like, you good? And
he didn't say anything.
He didn't say anything. There was no help or anything.
Like, he was kind of, I think
he was kind of petrified and scared for a second, because that's why I said, are you good? And he, like, dead serious looked at us, and he was like, I don't know.
Well, and the other thing was, we sent him to go get this battery. So now he's probably like 75 yards away from us, but he's still like 400 yards from where he needs to go.
Yeah.
And so he makes it like part of the way there and just immediately breaks through. And in front of him is nothing but just like virgin snow, like not one track on it. So it's coming again.
It's coming.
So he like leans down to feel what the ice is like, and he's like,
he literally reached underwater to like verify
straight underwater, and he was like, this is a really big one. And I was like, yeah, I can tell. You look like you're 5'2". And he was like, what do I do? I was like, well, you haven't fallen through yet, so just go back where you came from and pick a different route. So like he steps back up on top of the layer, and we're like, oh my God, he was down there. And he found his way back and everything, but I just won't forget that moment of, you good? And just I don't know. I actually have no clue.
Yeah. Good times though, eh?
Yeah, good times.
Yeah.
But so slush pockets, and then so this is a minor inconvenience of ice fishing, and I think everyone's gonna agree with me on this. And it's the biggest pain in the ass, and I had to deal with it this day because I forgot to bring my bibs inside. But it is, I'll just call it Dingleberries.
I knew you were going to say
I
that.
think that's the best way to say it.
That's a good pick.
But there's literally just, I don't get how it happens. I really don't know. But every ice bib made, it doesn't matter what brand they are or anything,
grabs onto it.
They just grab, and suddenly you're walking around hole hopping, and you got 8 baseballs hanging off the bottom of your feet. So then you have a buddy walk over and just stomp on them to get them off, and you're like, thank God. And then 40 minutes later, it's the same thing again.
But what's crazy about those is I've never seen a small one.
No, they
go
from
huge. Non-existent like to that big.
Yes.
Immediately. Literally.
Yes.
I've never seen one in the forming phase of a dingleberry. They're always at their peak. Always.
And then like Pink, like what happened to you? Like I smashed one off and you're like, oh, there goes the strapping button.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, yeah.
Just rips right off
this
the
off. He goes, and then the whole thing just rips off. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. What are you gonna do? You know.
But yeah, that will be my last pick. Dingleberries, just
Dingleberry.
that'll look great on the graphic.
I like it.
All right, so we got to go back to Hahner.
Okay, so I was trying to think of just how inconvenient my day is living up here, just day to day, not ice fishing. Not any of that stuff. So we're gonna.
I don't think this would be your pick, Hahner, but we talked about this film in Chasing Ghosts, which is basically the winner. But just everything takes so much longer.
So much longer.
It's such a process.
Mm-hmm.
You never knew how big unloading a boat process is until you have to do it when it's like 30.
It's the absolute worst.
Absolute worst. 40 fucking minutes.
Yes. Yes.
Sorry, didn't mean to cut you.
No, you're good.
How inconvenient to your day?
Nobody even noticed, dude.
No. So there's one thing about Midwesterners. We love complaining about this. We're never gonna move, but we love complaining.
This whole segment was built off of this.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna tell you what inconveniences my day from start to finish. So we started with the morning. We started, actually we hopscotch from late night getting the garbage out to morning hating life in our little piddly ho-dunk work truck.
Mm-hmm.
Now we come back home. It's tired. Worked my butt off outside all day long. Wrapped up in my blanket and my couch, watching whatever Seinfeld or, Arrested Development. I don't know what I'm watching, but I'm snuggled up in, and now it's time to go to bed because I got to be up and do it all over again and hating life, thinking of that. Well, one last memory right before the day ends. Right before the day ends, my room is right next to like 15 different windows adjacent to outside in the corner of a north-faced house. Wind just pumping in there. I don't care how many blankets you have. As soon as you get into that bed, it is going to be the worst experience for the next 10 to 15 minutes of your life.
Oh,
cold bed.
Taking the icy sheets.
You do whatever you want to do. I try kicking my feet around, get a little friction.
You do. The
friction going underneath the sheets.
Yeah, but you know what that does? It just keeps me awake even longer and enduring the pain even longer.
By the time your bed's warm, your heart
By the
rate is
time
elevated.
it's elevated. I'm sweating now. How am I sweating? I just got my workout in for the day. You work out in the wintertime? Actually, yeah. I do some cardio, a little running
right before bed.
in my sheets. Yeah. The absolute worst feeling. The worst feeling is going to bed and then actually having to like lift yourself out of bed that next morning.
Yeah.
Just unrolling the sheets and you're like, oh my gosh. Like, get the shower going. Come on. And of course, our water heater is absolute junk. So it takes like 5 minutes for the water to actually get up to heat. So, yeah, but I would say getting to bed with cold sheets just adds to the misery. Just straight misery. Horrible.
That's a good one.
Solid.
I got one that came off of that. That'll be an honorable mention. But Pink, your last pick, rounder up. What do you got?
So my last pick, closing this out with something that's very relatable, I feel like. I'm taking buying the blue windshield washer fluid instead of the purple one. And this fucking gets me every goddamn time.
Anybody from down south that's listening to this is like,
has
what
no
the
idea
fuck
what
are
they're
you
talking
talking about?
So I don't.
Oh, his mic just cut out. God damn it. Hahner, you want to explain what's the difference between blue and purple?
Just let's give it
Okay,
a second.
Pink,
Yes.
All right. So I don't know all the technical specs on that stuff, but the blue one is good for everything other than winter. It's only good in winter. And it takes you to like negative degrees or whatever. But the moment that you bought the wrong one, the next day, inevitably 20 degrees below fucking zero. And you're driving and your windshield is an absolute slushy. Just nothing happening. You thought scraping that little hole was something? You can't see nothing. You're looking through some blue sauce getting wiped around on the glass that only gets thicker every time the wipers go by it. And then you can't fix it. It's already, even if you buy the purple juice and pour it into the blue juice, it's not the same.
No.
I don't know what is in that stuff, but there's a reason they're different colors, obviously.
Straight
nothing like spraying the blue fluid on your windshield and watching it freeze immediately.
You're just bare knuckling it, looking for headlights and taillights. You're like,
and then the next guy definitely is going to have his brights on, right?
Oh yeah. And then all of a sudden you hear you don't even hear the rumble strip because that's covered with ice, but you feel like the
yeah. No point in steering now, right?
Yeah, you people down south, they're like, what do you mean windshield wiper fluid and inconvenience? Like, I use one of those jugs a year. Try going through 8 of them in 3 months because all you do every mile is clean off your windshield.
Salt.
Oh no, that was a good segment. So I'm gonna read back through all of them. Then we're gonna do some honorable mentions, which I think will also be funny because I have one off of Hahner's bedsheet ones. That's good. But so we got Pink with
what? Let's revisit that.
Well, he talked about cold bed sheets. It'll be an honorable mention. I'll bring it up in a second. But we got Pink with wet sock puddle, snow plop on seat of car, exploding cans, and buying blue instead of purple wiper fluid.
No, other way around.
Damn it.
You don't even know. You're just as screwed as me.
Dude, yeah, you got a 50-50 shot. Then we got Hahner. I forgot it's trash/recycle day. Waiting for car to warm up while driving. It's always dark. That just hits. It's
yeah.
And then cold bed sheets.
Yep.
And then I have frosted windows, snowplow after shoveling, slush pockets, and iced dingleberries. So just a reminder for everyone, we'll put up a graphic of it. We would like you guys all to vote. Let us know what you think, who won, who had the best list of the worst parts of winter. And if you're not from up here, just try to figure out which one you think would be the most miserable to experience. But
God, I love winter, eh?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
But my
Oh.
my honorable mention, and I don't know if I even would have used it instead of one of the other ones, but I don't get how the fuck does static electricity only exist from December through February?
Well, the voltage is just a lot higher.
just there's nothing like walking into your house and like going to a light switch and hitting the one screw below it and just getting zapped.
Zapped.
God damn it.
But I thought of it because the bed sheets thing, when I was back home for Christmas, my parents' basement is super dry, like really dry.
Mhm.
And I went to go get in bed at like 3 a.m. after editing one of the Chronicles videos. And it's pitch black in there, right? Because I know where the bed is. And I'm just walking over to it to hop in. And I peel back the sheets and literally could see like sparks. It was unreal.
It's
I've never seen
crazy.
anything like it, but it looked like a little thunderstorm.
Yeah.
I was pulling it over and I was like, this, like it's the good old Simpsons thing of the like, I'm in danger.
Yeah.
That's what I thought getting into bed. And then your leg hair is just like straight out.
Good night.
Wouldn't it be awesome if that warmed up your bed, though?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, how
Maybe
does
you got to do it like 20
times?
times.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
just
know. Just start on fire, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't get, because like every other time of year, it's just so dry up here, obviously in the winter. That's why it's around. But like you never run into static electricity. And then in the winter, you put on a pair of like sweatpants that aren't cotton.
Yo.
And you're just like zap, 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 zap on everything. You can feel it building up, and you're like, God, I can get someone right now.
And the pants
you
just
It's
like stick to your
office
leg.
fit.
Yeah, you go up to your buddy and you just tap him on the cheek, and it's just
Oh my God.
Oh.
All right, Hunter, you got any?
I got one right now that I can think of because it's been an affliction for the longest time for me. But I don't know if you guys get this, but I get bloody noses. Absolutely something horrible. And I'm saying bloody noses because the other day I had one. I mean, it was for the ages.
A
just
gusher,
wouldn't
huh?
stop.
I've
Faucet.
I've had them since I can remember, but I've never had one that lasted actually 4 hours before. I was getting lightheaded and I couldn't drive. I lost so much blood.
You're like, I'm gonna die.
Like, this is disgusting, but I had swallowed and consumed so much blood, it was coming back up in a quick trip.
God.
And I had to tell a lady with like just stuffed noses, like, this is my coffee. She's like, oh my gosh, do you have a bloody nose? I'm like, what
would you make
I'm
it
good.
that?
I'm good.
No. Just forgot to blow my nose. Didn't want you to look at it. Got a long nose hair. So,
Yeah.
and she's like, oh my gosh, are you okay? I'm like, no.
I don't believe I am.
Like, and I'm like, that bathroom back there, definitely not okay. You're gonna wanna clean that one out. So as far as inconveniences, bloody nose, not joking, 4 hours it lasted.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
I used to get
It
them.
was
I don't get them anymore.
Insane. Normally it was like 10, 15 minutes, it stops, whatever. But this one, I mean, just coming.
You just eating blood thinners for breakfast, or what?
It was disgusting. And of course it's at 5 a.m, cold as piss out. Just the nastiest of nasty. The windshield isn't defrosted yet. The truck isn't warm. My nose is just stuffed. I've got blood everywhere. It's just yeah. That's something that hinders me.
That's brutal, dude. 4 hour run.
Dude, it was insane. Like, the people I work with, they're like, are you all right? I'm like, no, I gotta sit down for a little bit. I've lost a lot of blood here.
Serious blood loss.
Yeah.
Might need to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
All right, Pink,
Yeah.
what do you got? Any honorable mentions? I thought of a couple more. Well,
I mean, I have one. It was more of like a question though, because I wanted to bring this up, but there was already too many in this realm. So is the windshield thing, eh?
Mm.
How is there not a goddamn ice scraper that takes off more than a 1/16 of an inch stripe off your fucking windshield when you put it on there? Like they make it that wide, but it doesn't touch the windshield other than one little strip. That's it.
Yeah.
What the, like how is that even a thing? They haven't created the technology yet to do this.
that actually wraps
It's-
with a
it's like-
windshield.
It's like not concave enough, or it's too concave, where it just like gets the edges, and you're just like feverishly scratching at it. Or
Like you
Better-
can cover the entire windshield 17 times. You ain't
Yes.
getting it. You ain't getting it all.
or
And then you
better
swear
yet,
you
forgetting
swipe it, you scrape it perfectly, and then you turn your windshield wipers on, and you're like, God damn it, I broke my wipers because there's
Yeah.
like
Well,
8
and you know
streaks.
you got to
right
use
down
that
the
little
middle of it.
plastic end. You got because
Yeah.
then you eventually you try that enough, and you're like, this isn't working. So you flip to that rubber fucking thing, which doesn't do anything.
yeah.
I don't even know why it's on there. For
Yeah,
in case
what's-
you want to wash your car. I don't know.
Yeah, what's the point of the brush? I don't get the point of the brush.
Well, mine's got like this little rubber squeegee. Like that's gonna do something.
Yeah, that'll help.
It does not.
That's for your
Verified.
blue or purple
Verified
windshield
doesn't help.
fluor.
I'm more in line with the credit card type guy. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I forgot the scraper again. Well, I mean, not that
It
big
wasn't
of a
gonna help
loss.
anyway.
Not that big of a loss. So here we go. Here we go. Gonna have to go to BMO Bank again because this one's gonna be screwed up.
I mean, to be fully honest, the most functional part of that entire thing is just the pole for like
Yes.
wiping snow.
just pushing snow. and
Like the
ice.
rest of it
Yes.
is useless. I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe I just have a shit ice scraper, but
Oh, I also I thought of, and I was gonna pick this one, but like it's also one of the best parts of winter, arguably. But like salt, because
just like
until
in general,
you get
or what?
yeah, because until you get to somewhere that doesn't use salt, you're like, wow, these roads suck. But
Yes.
then when you're on places that use salt, you're like, oh, great, the roads are nice. But then you look at your truck and everything else, and you're like, oh my god.
And then
Yeah, it might not be
every
that
truck
bad
is
unless
just rusted to
you're on the highway right after they put it down, and then it's like somebody just shooting a machine gun at the fucking front of your truck for 30 miles.
Yeah. And not to mention your truck rusts within 1 year. Like the value dramatically decreases.
Yeah.
Dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
ever put your hands in water after salting your
Salting.
driveway?
Oh yeah.
You want to feel
Just-
pain like you've never imagined.
I don't even know how that's possible, first of all.
Just I'm surprised the Japanese haven't used that with water torture.
They
I'm
do.
talking
They do.
salt torture.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, that one's bad. And then minor inconvenience, like you were talking about at the gas pumps, just gassing up your car
Oh yeah. Yeah.
when it's like negative 15.
Yeah.
Well, and then it hits you with all the questions.
Yeah.
Do you want
Would
a
you
car
like
wash?
a car wash?
Do you
Do
want
you
a
have
receipt?
Cubs rewards?
Yeah.
Would you like to sign up for this credit card?
I've gotten to the point now where they're like, you must shut your vehicle off at gas pump. And I go through the situation in my mind. I'm like, are you kidding me? This thing's been only running 5 minutes. She needs another at least 10 to get kind of warm. And I got to gas up. You're going to make me gas up and come outside and shut my vehicle off? How many fires are there in NASCAR? They're running their vehicles and gassing.
I don't think it does anything.
I don't think it does. I've done it
No.
for years now. Never had a fire once. Never blown up a gas station.
Or the when you think you auto just
I mean, I feel like
jinx the
that's something you only
fuck
do
out
once
of
anyway.
himself.
Yeah.
Wausau news next week. What's going on in the world
What?
today? Cody Hahner just
Weird. I don't know.
funny story. A gas station blew up in Wausau.
Quick Trip gas station in Mosinee, Wisconsin.
Explodes after a guy says my truck isn't warm enough and just tries to keep it running while gassing.
And they only have one grainy security cam footage of some guy with a bloody nose walking out of the goddamn gas station.
Then the worst part is you go into Quick Trip looking for warm coffee, and they're exchanging the coffee as you go in there. I'm on a bad time schedule right now because I get like the scraps. You know, I gotta fill it up. I gotta fill up like multiple. Version. I got the multiple taps going just to fill up. You know, my major mug to get through.
Like I guess I'm taking that shot of vanilla today.
Well, all right,
just to keep her full.
You go to back up into anything, and you're like, oh, use my rear view camera. You look and you're like, oh, sick, it's dirt. Then you look at your side view mirrors and you're like, oh, sick, can't see anything there either. So you're old school and it just fucking turned all the way around. Like, I think I won't hit anything.
Better put the blinker on so everybody knows that I'm backing up. Thank God for the work truck. It's got a beeper when I go into reverse. I'm like, back it up. Just slowly going. Hopefully there's not some old man at 6 a.m. sitting in the high chair at Quick Trip reading the newspaper that wants to evacuate. Jeez. Jesus, Murphy. What are we doing up here, boys? Let's go to Florida.
No, yeah. I think that was good. That was a good venting session. I'm surprised there wasn't more like fishing or outdoor related ones.
Oh no, it's the everyday.
It's honestly the everyday thing more than anything.
Yeah,
because we sign up to do the outdoor stuff, but
yeah, that's fun.
It's the little things, right? You know.
Yeah, outdoors is fun. Yeah, we're gonna go outside. Yeah.
Step when it freshly snowed and you're going to walk in the gas station and they haven't shoveled it yet, and you're like, I don't think it's that deep, and you're wearing shoes and you step and you're like, fuck, well, at least my ankles are soaked now.
Oh, the worst, the absolute worst is walking in with like my work boots, which I need to weatherproof again, but then just seeing all the slush, knowing right away, right out the get-go,
going down,
wet feet for the rest of the day.
Oh boy,
wet feet. I mean, I'm about to bring a piece of plywood out and walk across it.
Just carry it around.
I despise it so much.
I don't know how many
the nerve. How
many times a day do you honestly think like it through your mind? You're thinking like, how? There's got to be a way I could get money from slipping and falling right here.
If I could break
my number's high,
I can break a hip. No, all right. So that was a very good segment, and yeah. So if people want to vote for winners, do that on our social medias. Please keep sending this podcast to all your friends. Please rate and subscribe. It helps us out a ton. We have a lot of new listeners who have popped over, so we hope you're enjoying it. But I think for now, we're probably just going to move on unless anybody has anything else they want to say.
I've got plenty to say, but that'll take, I mean, I've got 29 years of pent-up aggression.
Yeah, we'll try to work that out in the next year.
We'll get there.
But thank you, everybody, for tuning in to another episode of Past the Barb, and we will see you guys on the next one.